How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, we did learn today on Lisa Cabrera's channel that this arrogant motherfucker of a lawyer, Michael Avenatti, up here in Northern California, he had to go to court. Oh, yes, he did. And I got a little something to read to the royal family, but before we get there, let's... I got a video that I found that give you a frame of mind of his level of arrogance.
I found a company who believes in me. They look out for me. At Comcast.
Damn. Hate commercials. I thought I was past that.
We're working to make things simple, easy, and awesome.
Here we go.
5 a.m. today, hours before the court proceedings even got underway, Michael Avenatti was tweeting his anger at the way the case is being handled, referencing the right to a presumption of innocence and the right to a jury trial, and saying, quote, "I am entitled to both. I expect both, and I demand both. We don't convict someone in America based on a one-sided argument and a press conference, even when he is one of the biggest enemies of the president and his son." The reference to the president, a clear implication that Avenatti believes he is only being pursued in the courts because of his frequent public clashes with President Trump and his prior representation of porn star Stormy Daniels, who has claimed she had an affair with the president. But these charges we're focusing on today are about Avenatti's work for other clients, cases in which he won millions of dollars on their behalf, but then, according to prosecutors, pocketed much of the money for himself, sometimes giving the client small advances to put off suspicion that he was stealing from them, according to prosecutors. He faces 36 charges in all, including wire and bank fraud, and if found guilty, could go to prison for the rest of his life. Avenatti also faces separate charges in New York, where he's alleged to have demanded millions of dollars to stay quiet about claims Nike was paying high school athletes. Now, Avenatti, you might remember, once considered challenging President Trump in 2020. If he's found guilty on any of these charges, he's likely to be otherwise occupied next year. He said, of course, he's not guilty on all the charges against him. Sandra?
He is due in court today. Jonathan Hunt.
This motherfucker is going to jail. Now, let me read what happened in court. I'm going to give y'all the juicy parts. You know, I always like to read the juicy parts of stuff. So Michael Avenatti, initially accused of taking $1 million from a single client, unsealed earlier this month, broadened the charges to include diverting settlement from 5 clients to pay for his own expense. Federal prosecutors allege Avenatti was using, was using the money to finance a high-flying luxury lifestyle. Now check this out. When he was in court, this shit gonna get real funny. Check this out. He is a man allegedly failed to meet his obligations to the government, stolen from his clients, used ill-gotten gains to support his racing team, the ownership of Telly's coffee shop, and a private jet, said Ryan Carner, the acting head of Los Angeles Internal Revenue Service, said in a statement with the enhanced charges were released. So today, when he was in court in Southern California, the IRS was there. They own his ass. Now, as we continue on, U.S. Magistrate Judge John Early appointed a federal public defender to represent Avenatti as he seeks new counsel. But she barely spoke a word on his behalf. Instead, Avenatti took the podium and said in a slow, clear voice, not guilty to all charges. He waived reading the indictment. See, this motherfucker is sitting up here perpetrating. He's sitting up here perpetrating like, you know, he still got big money and he balling. And there's so many attorneys clamoring. He's just trying to, pick the one that he want. But the judge appointed him a public defender. This dude is fucking delusional. He fall right in that category along with Trump. So he's so frustrated. He tells on himself on Twitter. They're so dumb, so arrogant, and he feels quite entitled. So when he goes to court today, he's sitting up here fronting like, he got his shit together. So I got another video to play the royal family, and then I have something else to read to y'all.
For Michael Avenatti, the former lawyer for Stormy Daniels and foe of President Trump, is now facing dozens of charges for stealing millions from clients. If convicted, Avenatti could spend decades behind bars. Whit Johnson here with the details. Good morning, Whit.
George, good morning to you. Michael Avenatti says that he's made powerful enemies over the years, but prosecutors pulled no punches, characterizing the flashy lawyer as a thief, a fraud, and a liar who took advantage of his own clients.
This morning, brash celebrity attorney Michael Avenatti now fighting for his own freedom. Prosecutors accusing the man who once considered running for president of stealing millions of dollars from clients to fund a lavish lifestyle, from reportedly sporting a watch worth tens of thousands to a flashy race car business and this private jet now seized by the feds.
It is lawyer 101. You do not steal your client's money.
Avenatti soaring to fame by representing porn star Stormy Daniels in a case against President Trump. The attorney now facing 36 charges, including wire fraud, tax fraud, bank fraud, and perjury, and what prosecutors describe as a complex web of lies and financial back channels between his law firm, Troubled Seattle Coffee Company, and other businesses.
Typically in the form of payments designed to string along victims so as to prevent Mr. Avenatti's financial house of cards from collapsing.
In one case, Jeffrey Johnson, a paraplegic man, won a $4 million settlement from LA County. The indictment claiming Avenatti hid that money from his client for years, giving Johnson just enough for rent at an assisted living facility. If convicted, he could face up to 335 years in prison.
Get him in the vehicle, please.
Avenatti is also facing federal charges in New York, accused of trying to extort millions of dollars from Nike.
And Avenatti is also firing back on Twitter, saying, quote, "I intend to fully fight all charges and plead not guilty," but a long legal battle ahead for him.
All right. So, one more thing. I want to read the royal family. So on Monday, Justice Department lawyers were mute as Avenatti, dressed in that same ass dried up blue suit, maybe he just sold his suits, and sitting among defendants in jail smocks, made his appearance. Unlike the past, when he faced a battery of media microphones outside the courtroom to proclaim his innocence, he is left without speaking. Early, which is the judge, ordered Avenatti to appear June 25th for a trial expected to last 15 days. This motherfucker is going to go to jail or he's going to kill himself. That's my prediction. From coast to coast, he got heat on his ass and he played too fucking much. And then another thing about this sleaze ball motherfucker, he don't take care of his family. He did it to his damn self. Ain't it sweet, my royal family, when you see a motherfucker fall? That's what your ass get. And then you steal from your clients, let alone one, a paraplegic. Can you imagine that when the trial comes and that person come wheeling in the courtroom? Not a good look, but he got an explanation for everything. He even got an explanation for not filing his taxes. The only thing that I notice about this bullshit, that let you know the deeper bullshit, you notice you can't find his mugshot. So somebody along the line is protecting him, because that's what they do in this white dead supremacist system. Another thing, you ain't heard nobody even mention about disbarring his ass, where he can't even represent anybody else. Ain't heard that at all. You see how still in this system, they still give a motherfucker a chance doing what he been doing. And they've been investigating him for a long time and knowing that he been pulling crimes before they even knew who Michael Avenatti was. But see, then he stumped in Trump territory. Oh, he will be locked up. He will be. So, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.